across the border. They don't speak English, don't know this culture from what they've seen on TV. Now they run into us. We don't pull books out and say, Mexican, read this. Yo, bro, you need to know this. Yo, you ever heard of Shay? Yo, let me... No, we like, yo, we got this crack over here. You want to get money, man? Come on. Let's go. Hey, hold this heat up. Stand with me, and we're going to get this go. Is that what we doing? You look at California. You look at people coming in. Blacks run the drug game in Cali. I don't care what nobody say. Mexicans coming in. What the blacks doing? Giving them their sin. We're giving other cultures black sin. The things we should not be doing, we're teaching other cultures to do it. This is the argument with melanin. It is a chemical thing, but chemical is about information. What information are we imparting to our white, Asian, Native brothers, to humanity? What are we imparting? So I think it's a greater responsibility, to go back to your first question, to whom much is given.
Much is required.
Come on now.
You're hitting it on the tee, because, like you said, it's been written about, it's been debated, but most people are not owning up to that responsibility.
Well, they are today.
We built the pyramid, but then it's like,
And so you just raised it. I'll just say, this group is heeding what you're saying because we're discussing it.
Right.
We're in an environment where these things can be discussed. In another environment, we both would be called racist. Yeah. If a white man stood up right now with the same argument, he'd be called racist, she'd be called racist. This is the problem with the United States right here, that we can't be truthful with one another. Back with the tax. We can't just, a white man can't come up to me and say, this is what I don't like about black people. I don't understand why y'all act like this, this, and this, without being called a racist. Because I have the same right to say, but this is what I don't like about your people. Why do you do this, this, and this? If we could have that discussion openly, like on television, do you know what America would become? Everybody would be having the conversation at Starbucks. Get rid of this racist thing. Nobody's racist in the United States no more because everybody's sharing a common ancestry. Everybody. You white and racist, you just an idiot because you've got black blood in you. And I can go down the line. So, your question's fascinating. I can go on for days.
Real quick, Chris, I'm planning
something. What we were talking about for the first half is written in the Gospel of Hip Hop, page 25. The next start at 24, and then go into like 26, like that. Hip Hop Museum. Over the last week or so, we've been enthralled in a controversy with the Hip Hop Museum. I thought the Temple of Hip Hop should know what that actually is, what that debate is about. It may come back up on you. A few weeks ago, a gentleman named Craig Wilson started a hip hop museum. He incorporated it. He had it. Is that the press release?
Yes, we're going to pass this around now.
Oh, okay.
We're going to pass this around now. It's a press release on everything that...
No doubt. I didn't even know that was out. Matter of fact, this press release comes out Monday. Comes out tomorrow. But it'll be all over on the wire tomorrow. But last week, Craig Wilson, started the National Hip Hop Museum. He chartered the museum and incorporated the museum, but never got permission to do so from the founders of hip hop. It is known that if you want to do something within the culture of hip hop, you have to, I don't want to say get the approval, but you have to be guided by the founders, Herc, Bam, Flash. If you don't have their approvals, you can't do cultural work in hip hop. You can be an exploiter, you can just rape the culture and do what you want. But if you want authenticity, if you want credibility, if you want the participation of the pioneers, you got to work with them. In this instance, Craig did not do that. Craig started a complete museum, then came to the founders with it. None of the founders said they would show up to this thing, and I was the host of it. Me and Chuck D was the host of this museum opening event. The night before the event, I get a call from Kenny Yoda, who is like the captain of Zulu Nation. He got a call from Africa Bambaataa, who was in Brazil, saying this event is illegitimate. It is not authorized and should not be happening. So then Kenny Yoda called me. And instead of speaking to me, Kenny Yoda said, we need the help of the Temple of Hip Hop, which Kenny knows when he speaks like that to me is a different thing. If you want KRS-One, oh, I'm spitting 16 bars, I'll show up to your concert, I'm pretty much the rapper. But when you ask for the Temple of Hip Hop, you're asking for the teacher, T-E-A-C-H-A. Different thing. Kenny Yoda called me up and asked for the teacher, not KRS-One. I responded, what's going on? This is unapproved. Africa Bambaataa doesn't approve of this. This guy is using Africa Bambaataa's name for credibility, but never spoke to Bam. So I went down to the museum event as the host. I spoke first to Craig at a dinner. And I said, Craig, I can't host. He was heartbroken, sad, mad. Got on the phone with Kenny Yoda, arguing over what the point was. But I said to him, the word is already there. I can't host this thing. I can be here, but I can't host it. The event went down. About 100 journalists in a room. I got all of their attention. I told them this event is illegitimate, and I won't be hosting, and no old schoolers, no pioneers, nobody is supporting this event. They all wrote it down and went out on the wire. Follow-up to that is the press release that you have. SOBs is a club in New York, Varick Street, 204 Varick Street. We usually meet there. We've been meeting there for many years. We're going to have a discussion. The Temple of Hip Hop is holding discussion. Now, notice what I'm saying to you. There is Hip Hop Congress, there is Zulu Nation, there is Hip Hop Alliance, Hip Hop Association, there's Rocksteady Crew, there's at least 50 hip hop organizations in the United States alone. The Hip Hop Political Convention, all of this. We respect all of them. We try to help all hip hop organizations. But it is our philosophies that separate us from most of the hip hop organizations. And why? Because we approach hip hop spiritually. So there's a different approach here. Here's the difference. Our founders say, if you want to open a hip hop museum, you got to pay us, straight up. People who offer museums with charters, they say, what do you mean pay? This is your culture. We're doing this for you. This is your museum. And the founders say, we don't care about all that. Pay me. Now, in one breath, you can say, Kool Herc and the rest of them are just money grabbing and greedy and selfish. All they want is money off the culture. But the Temple of Hip Hop doesn't look at it that way. The Temple of Hip Hop looks at the person, not the icon. The person. Kool Herc is a person. A human being with mortgage, cell phone, car note. Kool Herc. He is the inventor of hip hop. Now hip hop is a $3 billion culture and industry. And he struggles to pay his mortgage. There's something inherently wrong with that. Okay, Herc. Okay, Herc. You've been to prison. When you was a young boy, you was a gangster, no doubt. You and Africa Bambaataa, y'all was in the streets. Bam managed to save himself from the streets by starting Zulu Nation. Kool Herc went to prison. Grandmaster Flash made millions of dollars, but was never really respected as an inventor. Oh yeah, he's DJ Flash, made some good records, but Grandmaster Flash invented that cross crossfader. That crossfader on every mix, that's Flash. Temple of Hip Hop looks at Grandmaster Flash the person, not Grandmaster Flash the icon. Flash as a person. What makes you afraid? What makes you happy? What are you trying to do with your life as a person? So we are now throwing this SOB's event, you know, and we're inviting all the pioneers in hip hop there. We're feeding 100 people at SOB. We're going to sit the pioneers down for a dinner. Why do we start with dinner? Because they're human beings. Pioneers like to eat. Simple and plain. Like, no lofty philosophy, no big deal. Just, yo, where the chicken at? First, we sit down for a 5 o'clock dinner. We sit down right there, we feed the pioneers. 6 o'clock, it's on the schedule there. 6 o'clock, press is allowed in. We answer questions with the pioneers right there. Anything the pioneers don't want to hear, they'll stand up and say it right there. 6, 7 o'clock, we open it up. 9 o'clock, I go on stage. Everybody and their mother will be there. It'll probably be an MC convention that night. We're shooting it, filming it, the whole event, everything. If you would like to be part of that event, we're going to have to create a separate list of those who are willing to volunteer for that day. It's a separate list. Everyone doesn't have to come, you know this. And by no means, if you can't come, it doesn't make you any less a temple member or not. It's just that we're doing this for the pioneers. And if you have the resources to come to New York, you know, and spend a day lording over the pioneers and organizing, you know, this conference, you know, it might cost you some money. It may cost you some gas money, maybe a hotel if you don't want to come back. You have to stay at a friend's house, make some arrangements for you to actually be there. But this is a volunteership, and this is what the Temple of Hip Hop is about as well. You have to volunteer in a spiritual organization. Like my brother just said right here, money's not the issue. I do talk about money though, yes, sir. No doubt, and I appreciate, because your question is another hour. Wealth versus riches. Money is important, and I want to get back to that money conversation, but in this instance, this is what the brother was talking about. The preservation of hip-hop cannot be cheapened to what we gonna get. The preservation of hip-hop, we have to bring our resources to this. And those who bring their resources are the ones who inherit the culture.